All right, continued reading of Brendan Dassey trial, day 2, continuing on page 85, Freeman's cross-examination of Heimerl. All right. Okay, so I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that someone missed that the first time? I don't know as if I can assume that. All I can say is that on March 1, I happened to be walking in the garage, and I stopped, and I looked down, and I saw the gray object that struck me as being similar in color to the lead from a bullet, which caused me to examine it closer. Just walking into the garage, you saw it and made note of it? Yes. In fact, several other investigators had already been into the garage. I happened to be in this front corner of the garage looking with a flashlight at the floor in the early stage of the search and looked down, and as I said, I saw a light gray colored object that I knew in my mind that we need to be looking for bullets. That looks to be the color of lead from a bullet. Did you process, and what I mean by that is, did you take swabs of the bullet, for instance, and the creeper while you were in the garage? No, we did not. So no one in your team actually swabbed any of those items to determine if there was any potential DNA evidence? Not on the items as stated, no. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Not on the items that you just stated, no. Okay, any items in the garage that you did that to? The swabs were collected on the 2nd, yes. What were the swabs collected? What items were swabbed? The red tool chest at the back of the garage was swabbed. Any reason why you didn't swab the creeper? We need to make a decision. Are we going to try and collect any visible stains here in the field, or is it more practical to collect this object in its entirety as a whole? If it is portable, can we package it sufficiently and protect any evidence that may be on it and transfer it to the crime lab? And that's what we chose to do. So you actually did transport the entire creeper to the crime lab? I did not. It was collected and packaged and removed from the garage, and any further analysis or testing at the crime lab became someone else's responsibility. Someone in your team packaged the creeper, correct? Yes, it was removed from the garage and it was collected and packaged for transport away from there. Attorney Freeman, I have nothing else. The court, redirect? Redirect examination by Attorney Kratz. Mr. Freeman suggests that law enforcement officers may have missed something before March 1. Isn't it true that it wasn't until March 1 that law enforcement was even told that Teresa Halbach was shot in the garage? That's correct. That's correct. And that was by the defendant, Mr. Dassey, is that right? Correct. Attorney Kratz. That's all I've got, Judge. Thank you. Attorney Freeman. The court. You may step down. Attorney Freeman. One moment, Judge. Nothing more, Judge. Thank you. The court. You may step down. Attorney Kratz. State would like to call Dan Kucharski to the stand, please. The clerk. Please raise your right hand. Daniel Kucharski, called as a witness herein, having been first duly sworn, was examined and testified as follows. The clerk. Please be seated. Please state your name and spell your last name for the record. The witness, Daniel J. Kucharski, Kucharski. Direct examination by Attorney Kratz. Mr. Kucharski, how are you employed? I'm employed by the Calumet County Sheriff's Office. How long have you been on a police officer? I've been with Calumet County for about 4 years, and 2 years before that with another agency. What are your current duties with Calumet County? I'm a patrol deputy with the additional duties as an evidence tech and armor for the county. Were you asked, Deputy Kucharski, to assist in search and other investigative efforts regarding the death of Teresa Halbach? Yes, I was. I'm going to move right ahead to your specific areas of involvement, specifically to Sunday, the 6th of November. Were you asked to proceed to what's now known as the Avery salvage property? Yes, I was. What were your duties on the 6th of November? I was assigned a search team that included Lieutenant Link, Sergeant Colburn, and Detective Remaker. We were given several areas on the property to search different times of the day. Speak up just a little bit. I'm sure we would appreciate it. Did you have, prior to the 6th of November, any specific training and experience as an evidence technician? Yes, I went through the 2-week evidence technician school at Fox Valley Technical College. On the 6th of November, were you asked, and did you in fact perform a search of the detached garage of Stephen Avery? Yes, I did. Could you describe on that early stage, that is, just in the first full day of searching of that property, describe what it was that you were looking for in that garage? Basically, myself and my team were sent to the garage for a general search. We were looking for general items that made a point as to a crime that had been committed. Nothing specific at that time were we looking for. And in fact, on that early date, did you have a detailed or a solid understanding what it was you were looking for? Not at all. There was very little guidance. As the facts would roll in, we would get more specific things. As the days went past, we'd get more specific things to search for and to collect. That was my first day of actual evidence collecting and searching, very general. All right, I've got some photographs that will assist. I show you what's marked as Exhibit 116. Tell the jury what that is, please. This is a photo of the inside of the garage that we searched on that Sunday. So it would be towards the front or overhead door looking back towards the southeast corner of the garage. There are two large objects, two vehicles, if you will, that are depicted in this particular photograph. Could you describe those for the jury, please? It's a Suzuki Samurai automobile and a Ski-Doo Mach 1 snowmobile. And in this photo, is this photograph taken and does it accurately depict how Mr. Avery's garage looked on the 6th of November? Yes, it does. In the back of this photograph, you see a blackjack creeper? Yes. And I've zoomed in a little bit to that. You can see it on the large screen. On the 6th of November, did you have any indication that that blackjack creeper may, in fact, have any evidentiary value? No, nothing stood out. Did you have a general impression of this garage when you first walked into it? Can you give the jury kind of a flavor of it? I would say it was a typical garage on the messy side. The west side of the garage was piled up with types of machinery, junk, things like that, several feet deep on that west side. Along the back of the garage, that would be the south side of the garage, was also had equipment and junk on it. Not quite as deep as that west side. Then on the east side of the garage, into the garage, there's also a pile of junk. The floor was a typical garage floor with stains on it, dirt. At some point, was that snowmobile removed from the garage? Yes, at one point towards the end of our searching, we wanted to look underneath the snowmobile, so we removed it from the garage. All right, and again, since this was a relatively cursory search, did you believe that you or other law enforcement officers would have an opportunity to go back into this garage and research it if you needed today? Yes, as more information came in, more specific information came in, we would go back to places that we had already searched, looking for specific things. I'm showing you exhibit number 117 now. It's on the large screen. Is this a photograph after the snowmobile's been removed? Yes. Could you describe some, and I think you have a laser pointer up there, describe some landmarks or specific areas that you observed on the 6th of November? Well, after we removed the snowmobile, we could see more clearly a crack running be north and south and one east and west. These are the scratches made by the snowmobile pulling in and out of the garage. There were scratches already on the floor before we pulled it out because they obviously had to get it in there somehow. That's what we saw when we pulled the snowmobile out. All right, there's a riding lawnmower. Looks like a John Deere lawnmower to the right. Is that right? Towards the back here in this area, riding lawnmower. Large red tool chest, show us that. Stand-up tool chest in the center area here towards the back wall. Next to that tool chest on the 6th, I can see a green air compressor. Do you see that in the photograph? It's dark, but it's right here, the green air compressor on the floor next to the tool chest. Now, for the jury's benefit, were many or in fact any of those items removed, and did you search behind or under them, or was it that thorough of a search on the 6th? It was a general search. We, on the most detailed search, we would have pulled everything out of the garage. We obviously didn't do that. The only thing we pulled out was the sled because we couldn't see underneath it readily, and it was out in the open anyways. We didn't take out any of the things along the back wall or the side walls. All right, the floor of this garage you had described briefly, but I'm going to show you exhibit number 118. Tell us what we're looking at here, please. It's a little bit closer view of the floor after the snowmobile had been pulled out. During your search of the garage, did you have occasion to find any what are referenced to as shell casings? Yes, we found, located, and collected several .22 caliber long rifle shell casings. I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 119. Tell the jury what we're looking at here, please. This is one of the shell casings that we found in place on the floor of the garage on the date we searched it. All right, did you take a photograph of more than one shell casing? We photographed more than one shell casing. We took as many photographs of the shell casings that we could. Some were behind things that we couldn't readily photograph. We collected those and put them all together into a box. If you remember Deputy Kucharski on the 6th of November, can you remember and can you tell the jury how many shell casings were recovered from that garage? There were either 10 or 11 shell casings recovered. In fact, now I'm going to show you exhibit number 120, I believe. Tell us what we're looking at here, please. This is the pillbox that I put the shell casings in, photographed after it had been entered into evidence. And as you sit here, are you able to tell the jury and can you count how many shell casings are in that pillbox? I count 10, I count 11 in this photograph. All right. And again, those were recovered from inside the garage on the garage floor. Is that right? That's correct. What exhibit was that you were just handed? No verbal response. The clerk, 128. Attorney Kratz, 128? I'm sorry, we've handed you what's been marked as Exhibit 128. Tell us what that is, please. It appears to be the box with the 22 shell casings. All right, after you recovered those shell casings, do you know what happened to them? After I sealed them in the package and put them into the paper bag and entered those into evidence at the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, and I left it in the care and custody of the evidence custodian. Now, you didn't perform any analysis on those shell casings. In other words, you aren't qualified to compare shell casings to specific firearms, are you? Correct, I just collected them. I didn't do any analysis on them. Is it fair to say that that is a discipline or a science that is left to somebody with greater expertise than you have? Yes. Deputy Kucharski, after the garage was searched in relatively general fashion, do you recall what other searches were performed on the 6th of November? Only the searches that my team did. Directly after we finished up with the search of the garage, I was called over to an area behind the Yonda residence to take some burn barrels that were waiting to be loaded up and entered into evidence. After that, I was given the assignment. Let me just stop you there. I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 121. Tell us what we're looking at here, please. Those are the burn barrels that I tagged, and they were lowered onto a trailer that you can see the ramp on there, and they were taken. After the search of the burn barrels, or excuse me, the recovery of the Yonda and that's Mr. Dassey's residence as well. Is that your understanding? I don't know. Okay, you knew that it was Barb Yonda's? Yes. Trailer? That's how it was referred to. After the recovery of those burn barrels, what were you asked to do? We were sent to the Yonda residence to search it. And did you in fact search that residence? Yes, we did. Again, this was a general search, not looking for anything in specific. During the search of the Yonda trailer, did you have occasion to observe and recover a phone message that was found on the answering machine of the Yonda residence? Yes, one of the first things that we did when we entered the residence is Detective Remaker played the phone message while we were all standing around. He recorded it, and then we commenced searching the rest of the residence. Direct your attention to the photo in front of you, exhibit number 123, and now being shown on the large screen for the jurors. What are we looking at? This is a photo of the phone and answering machine that was in the Yonda residence. And you indicated that you had occasion to listen to at least one of those phone messages, is that correct? Yes. Did an individual on that phone message identify herself? We listened to the message that the female caller identified herself as Teresa. Attorney Kratz. At this time, Judge, assuming this works, I will ask the court for permission to play that particular phone message. We do have the phone message reduced to an audio CD as well that I will then ask to have marked, and then I'll place into evidence at that time. The court. Any objection, counsel? Attorney Fremgen. No, Judge. The court. All right, go ahead. Wherein attempt is made to play phone message. Attorney Kratz. We should try this maybe one more time. Apologize. Do it the old-fashioned way, Judge. See how this works. Let's try it again. The court. Counsel, do you have other questions to ask of Mr. Kucharski? Maybe you'll want to... Attorney Kratz. Thank you, Judge. We will, the court, give another shot at this later on. Attorney Kratz. We will come back to this a little bit later. Investigator Kucharski, or excuse me, Deputy Kucharski, after the phone call was recovered from you, what were your other search efforts that day? After we finished with the Yonda house, we were also assigned to search the shop buildings and then ultimately assigned to search the pickup truck that was parked outside of Stephen Avery's garage. Deputy Kucharski, did you have occasion to recover any firearms that day? Yes, we were also sent to the Stephen Avery trailer to specifically pick up firearms that were in the trailer, a vacuum cleaner that was in the trailer, and bedding from a spare bedroom that was in the trailer. And could you tell the jury, please, what firearm, if any, or firearms, if any, were recovered from Mr. Avery's trailer? Inside of Stephen Avery's bedroom, we found above the bed in a gun rack 2 rifles. One was a Connecticut Valley Arms Hawken type 50 caliber muzzle loader. The other was a 22 caliber Glenfield Model 60 semi-automatic rifle. I'm showing you a photo that has already been received into evidence in this case as exhibit number 86. Do you recognize that photograph? Yes, it's a photo of the rifle, the 22 caliber semi-automatic rifle. I'm going to actually have marked Deputy Kucharski and show you its exhibit. I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 129. Tell the jury what that is, please. This is the rifle that I collected out of Stephen Avery's bedroom, the .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle.